Hi, everybody. It's Tuesday, so let's jump into it. And this week's topic is I forget the exact wording, but someone we find inspirational, or some woman we find inspirational, or we look up to, or something. Um, the only person that really comes to my mind is my mom. My mom, growing up, has always been a very strong, independent woman who, doesn't take shit from anybody, but is still compassionate. She's a good and loyal friend. I'm thinking of all the surface things right now. She was a really good, great, amazing mom. She, after her and my dad divorced, she was a single mom for a while. She worked 2 and I think maybe the most 3 jobs at once. She, sorry, it's kind of hard to talk without crying right now, and I don't know if it's just my emotions or, it's my mom. But she did everything that she could to give us the clothes we needed, food to eat, house. She gave us a strong work ethic. I was too young at the time, but she, for my brothers, like if they wanted anything extra of beyond what she can afford, her rule was, if you want something better or extra, you need to find a job and pay for it yourself. Because, she was working a lot and, she gave us what she could. And I see that in my brothers now, the kind of work ethic that they have. They're, them and me. When I do have a job, I'm not, as lazy. I do love to nap, but when I have a job, I'm good. But that's beside the point. She is somebody who knows everybody. Whether you're a lifelong friend or a new friend, she can talk to anybody. She's always there for her friends, and whether she's talked to them in 15 years or an hour ago, she can talk to people, and people like her. People like working with her. It's just, those are the surface level things that I can think of right now. She drives me crazy, but I can think of a few times where growing up and in my teenagers, especially in my teenagers, we had a very good relationship that we fought. There are rare times when we were yelling at each other. I think there was only one time when we were actually like yelling. And I got in trouble for that because I'm not supposed to yell at my mother. Her coworkers while I was in junior high were, warning her that she needs to be prepared for the teenage girl hormones, and that I'm going to be moody, and that I'm going to be, fighting with her a lot, and then I might sneak out of the house, and I might do all this and that, and that never happened. We had a really good relationship, and the most times that she irritated me the most was when she decided to clean at 6:30 in the morning, and I would have my door closed, and she would open the door and toss things in that were mine. Close the door. Open the door, toss things in that were mine. Close the door, and then she would vacuum and like right up on my door, and it's just like, gosh. Those were the times when I know that I was so irritated with her, and those are minor times. But before me, my brothers are 8 and 10 years older than me, so they have 2 versions of my mom. My mom was married to my dad for 15 years, and that was a bad, abusive, mentally and physically relationship. It was bad. He beat her, and he was not a good man to her. My first memory of them together, like I have few memories of my mom and dad actually being in a room together, and my first one of them was me sitting on the carpet in front of the TV and him yelling at her behind me, and he's slapping her, and my mom was yelling at my brother to call the police, and just a mess right there. My first memory of them together, and that's that. Towards the end of their relationship, she was going to school. Not going to school. She was working as a lab tech, a phlebotomist, and she was doing that. And she was able to get out of that, even though she was, she had told me at different times that she didn't think that she would be able to do it on her own, and she, my dad made her feel worthless and stuff like that, and it's hard for me to imagine that. It's hard for me to picture my mom feeling like that, because it's not how I've ever seen her. But she managed to get out, and she managed to raise me and my brothers, and I can't imagine it being easy. I have a hard time sometimes with my kid, and I have a husband, and I can't imagine having 3 kids and not having a husband. Especially since she was a teen mom, 15, 16, so she was with my dad from a young age, and had my oldest brother, at a young age, so I can't imagine how it would be to feel that dependent on somebody to where you feel like you can't leave, and it takes 15 years to leave. But I haven't really talked to her about that part of it. It's hard for me to listen to that. My brothers have spared me stories, which I'm thankful for. My mom, I'm sure she dulls it down, waters it down, because I'm not sure why it's hard for me to talk about, and it didn't even happen to me, and I didn't even experience it. But I don't know if she does it to spare me, or if she can't relive it. Because some things she'll be like, we'll look at a picture, and she'll be like, I remember that day your dad beat the shit out of me after we left that place and went home. And I'm just like, she just says it so, it happened. So I don't know if that's her defense mechanism for that, or if she really is past it. Well, I know she's past it. She has encouraged me, despite the assholery stuff of my dad, she has encouraged me to have a relationship with him. And I think that's very big of her, and very strong of her, to be like, he did this to me, he didn't do it to you. You should have a relationship with him. And I have problems with that. Like, me and my dad have our own, stories, and I have my own abandonment issues with him, and there's just another story, a whole completely different story with me and my dad. But my mom has still encouraged me to try and work past it with him, and to just forgive him, and to have a relationship with him. And I don't know how she does it, because I can't get past it with my own stuff. Put my mom's stuff on top of that, and it's just like, I had her growing up. She was my mom and my dad, and so sorry. Just hearing her say something like that to me tells me the kind of person she is. Yes, now we fight a little bit, not bad fighting, but we argue, and we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. But when it comes down to it, that's the kind of person my mom is, and that's the kind of person that I want to be, and I'm still trying to be. So there's just tons of other things about my mom that I love. She's just somebody that I hope other people, when I'm, look at me and they see that I'm like my mom, that I'm a good friend, and that I'm a good mother, and just things like that. And I'm sorry, I'm crying. I've been debating on letting her see this or not. So we'll see how that is. You know, there's other things with my mom that I just, you know, we have fun memories together. We you know, like I said, we didn't fight a lot. We actually had a really good relationship. She was strict with me about dating, but not anything else. When I wanted to dye parts of my hair green when I was a freshman in high school, she let me. You know, she let me go through my punk phase. My makeup, you know, she always told me to, I wish I would have listened to her, but a lot of the time she was like, you need to take some of that makeup off, it's too much. And I wish I would have listened to her, because I look back on some of the times that I, you know, didn't listen to her and I wore my makeup, and it's just thick. It's like Sharpie marker kind of a thing. By the time I was in high school, she was a little bit more well off than what she was when my brothers were growing up. My brothers remember, you know, the rice and beans, and I remember, you know, in elementary school having Hamburger Helper like every single day, and I can't eat Hamburger Helper because of that. But by the time I was in high school, you know, if my brother, well, yeah, they know I didn't have a job. We give each other crap for me being the favorite because I'm the youngest and the only girl, but I didn't have to have a job, you know, as long as I was a good kid. And especially after I made it past 15 or 16, she, you know, she bought me my clothes. She as long as I wasn't dressing over the top, or I wasn't, like, you know, wearing inappropriate things, she'd buy me the clothes that I wanted. And it all just depended on, you know, me being just generally a good kid, and for the most part I was. So, you know, she's still there for me and my brothers. If we need help, she helps us. That garbage disposal truck is coming back. Sorry. Wait a little bit. Yeah, you're a noisy truck. I had to stop the first take of this video because it came by and I was like 5 minutes in. I'm trying to wrap this up. Okay. Nope, it's not gone yet. Anyways, you know, she's still there for us in our adult years. She's still dependable, you know. She's always put her kids first, and I don't see her ever not doing that. And she's a good example of being a great parent under terrible circumstances, but being able to pull herself out of being poor. And, you know, my dad didn't pay child support when I was younger, so, you know, where that could have helped, it didn't. And she was able to make ends meet. She wasn't somebody who just buckled under pressure, and I feel like if I was in her position, I probably would have buckled. But I can only hope that I become as strong as she is, because it's something that I would like. So I'm sorry if there wasn't much in this video other than me saying my mom is strong. Because my mom is strong. My mom is somebody who, you know, yeah. So I think my shortest video, maybe. But thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.